subscribe? Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Of America, right? But what is the culture? Bro, let me educate you. Every culture starts from a language, a tribe. Every tribe have a language. What is it? Apart from English, what other language do Americans speak? The Black Americans. The Mexicans in America speak Spanish. They have something they speak outside English. The Asians the Chinese, everybody speak their language outside English. What do you speak? What is a trace of your culture you're talking about? What is American culture? I want to know, what is the Black American culture? I keep hearing this culture. Bro, the Black Americans are the culture, maybe baby mama culture. You know, baby single women having 3 kids. That's probably their culture. Or the numbers of the highest incarcerated Black young men in America. That's their culture. I don't know. Is it the pum culture? The gang banging culture? Is that the culture? Bro, the Black American culture is about wearing, let's say, wearing the Nikes, they want to be on the trend game, you know? These are the culture. But I don't know why the Black Americans feel like they should be the center of Black people around the world, or they should be the face of Black people around the world. Why? Bro, you can have your face. See, you don't even have to declare yourself that you are not African, you are not African American. Bro, nobody give a flying damn about what you think about yourself. That's your own opinion and your own mentality, your own narrative of everything, how you are. That nobody cares. But bringing all your fights about Africa, bro, I don't get it. You talk about culture every time. What is the culture? I want to know. Genuinely, I'm asking. The hip hop. You want to say the hip hop? The music is your culture. I don't get it. Eminem is not Black, but he do more hip hop probably than the Black Americans. I don't get the culture you're talking about. Or maybe because you guys dominate the basketball, the sports game in America. You guys dominate. Is that the culture? Sport is not culture, bro. Let me educate you. You don't have any language you speak outside English. You don't have a tribe. Culture has traces. You don't have any culture, but you always say culture. Bro, you don't have culture. Your culture is about dressing, looking nice, and wearing Nikes. They will tell you that they have the Nike. Bro, Nike is owned by a white man. I want to educate you on that too. The Nike is owned by a white man. They will tell you, hey, Michael Jordan.
There's a video that's on my it's on my Twitter feed. It's a very interesting video. This is a video of, I think the guy's Nigerian, but I think he's over here. You know, like they're never in Nigeria. But the thing is, hold on one second. People are texting me shit. This guy made a video talking about Black Americans, talking about we don't have no culture. He's one of these guys. He made a video talking about, Black Americans don't have a culture. You don't have a culture. What is that? What is Black American culture? When we have pride in our culture and who we are, that just everybody up for some reason. When we have specific pride and reverence and respect for our specific distinct lineage, it throws people off. I don't know why. I kind of do know why, because again, they can't leech off of us. But this guy was talking about Black Americans. What is your culture? What is your culture? Because culture starts with language. And you do not have a language. You do not have a language. And he started going on this rant about the Chinese. They have a language outside of English. The Mexicans have a language outside of English. So what is your culture? You do not have a language. Listen. Just understand this. Language does not define culture. Culture defines language. Culture is not created by language. It's expressed through it. See, while language, it reflects cultural values, that's not the sole required marker of the culture. Culture is shared behavior, norms, food systems, spiritual systems, music, art, values, resistance, traditions, and historic memory. That's it. That's what culture is. We're going to get, family, we got to watch this shit. We're going to have to get this culture shit straight with the damn tethers. We're going to have to clean that shit up because these others talking culture shit, and they ain't really got the culture that they try to brag about. Because when you ask them what the culture is, they can never name anything. But there's countless cultural groups around the world, and in Africa and all that. They might share a language, but they'll have completely different cultures. Like we speak English here. Jamaica speak English. They don't speak a different language. They speak a patois version of English, but it's still English. But it's completely two different cultures. You understand? And as far as language, we developed our own language here, the Tut language during slavery. We had our own language. It was a secret language. It was a coded language that we created among each other where we could communicate secretly under oppression. It was something that was passed down orally, and it was used to maintain solidarity, identity, and protection from slaveholders. And it wasn't just a language, it was a cultural act of resistance, which is a part of our culture. Resistance is a part of our culture. You can't get more goddamn cultural than that. You understand? And listen, foundational Black American culture, we are the one of the few people who have globally influenced cultures. Our culture is globally influenced. Our culture is one of the most imitated, commodified, and influential cultures on the planet. We touch every continent. I've been to Easter Island over there dressed like us. You understand? From hip hop to jazz to fashion to slang to sports to justice movements, the foundation of Black American culture, that dictates global style and the pulse of global culture. You understand? And our culture, foundation of Black Americans, it was forged through historic alchemy. See, that's power. That's not absence. Our culture became unique because it was forged under extremely unique systematic oppression. We had an ethnogenesis here. So it was born out of a struggle, it was born out of survival, innovation, and adaptation. See, we didn't inherit a culture. See, we had to create one in spite of being stripped of things. So we had a Big Bang theory, we had an ethnogenesis. So we started creating all of these powerful things from scratch: the soul food, the music, the dance, the resistance. See, that's more powerful than inheriting some kind of cultural custom. That's a testament to our resilience, ladies and gentlemen. And let's be real, some of these tethers, like the dude talking about culture and all of that, some of these African immigrants, and not all, I'm talking about the tether class, I'm talking specifically about them. They'll try to romanticize culture, basically without they don't want to realize and acknowledge that they're holding on to colonial leftovers. Yeah. Like I keep saying, a lot of these cats, you guys come from basically abandoned refugee camps left over by the imperialist. You uphold the colonial borders, the European imposed religions, the tribal divisions, because a lot of those tribes over there, that was created because they were over there making folks run around. And then y'all became all of these different tribes. Those tribes come from being nomadic. You understand? All them tribes, that comes from being nomadic. That's why you over there in those countries, y'all asses them, you're more fluent in French and English than some of those native tongues. And many of those tribal customs, they're not really practiced, or they're basically revived for aesthetic purposes. No, culture is not just folklore, it's lived values. Yeah. And listen, most of what people consider American culture is FBA culture. That's what I'm saying. We are the culture here, period. We are the culture here. We are the culture of America. We are American culture, ladies and gentlemen. That's either true or it's not damn true. I'm talking about from the food, the dances, certain the way pies are made, the way apple pies are made, all of that stuff. They talk about as American as apple pie, but we were the one who perfected the apple pie by putting all the spices and shit like that in it. Back in the Europeans, they would use pies from like Ireland. They would like get some dough and just throw some cut up apples in there and wouldn't season it, wouldn't put no cinnamon on it or nothing. You understand? That's what I'm saying. We influence everything, all the music genres, all the subgenres. You understand? Right now, what's his name? Ozzy Osbourne died. Ozzy Osbourne, you know, he was heavy metal guy. He was in the was he in the group Black Sabbath? Something like that. He was in Black Sabbath and he died and they were like, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne basically created heavy metal. And not really. Yeah, they were talking about how he created heavy metal. Not really. That heavy metal is basically distorted guitars, deliberate distorted guitars and big drums, and those were black blues and rock artists doing that. It was like Memphis guitarists like Joe Hill Lewis, Willie Johnson, and one main guy, Pat Hare, who's one of the main guys creating that distorted guitar thing. And Pat Hare, he was one of the main guys. He played with Muddy Waters and people like that. And remember, the Muddy Waters, that rock guitar, that distorted guitar, and one of his songs, he was talking about Rolling Stone and all that. That's where the group, the Rolling Stone, got the game from. They got their name from Muddy Waters, listening to those distorted guitars, and they took that shit over to Britain, and then the Beatles and all of them British groups started listening and learning from these black artists. That's where they got the shit from, and that distorted guitar. They like that shit. You know, even the name heavy, you know, that was a slang term that we used. That's where they got it from. They got it from, you know, that's always been, hey man, that shit is heavy. You know, they got that from us. They got that from jazz artists who the beatniks, those white hipsters would be around. There was a bunch of white people called beatniks back in the 50s and 60s, who the white people were real cool. They would have these beards and wear these tams on their heads and these barrettes and shades and smoke cigarettes and go to little clubs and do poetry and play drums. They were getting that from the jazz artists. Those beatniks would hang out with a bunch of black folks who were jazz musicians and steal all of their vibe and their swag. They became beatniks and they started using heavies. Hey man, that's heavy. Ooh, that's groovy. Ooh, that's hip. So I'm saying all of these movements, we are the genesis of all of that shit. All of the culture, we've influenced everything. You look at a culture here, you're going to see that we're the foundation of it. You understand? You look at a culture here, you're going to dig and peel the layers back. You're going to see where we have always been the foundation of the culture. You see? And the thing is, let's be real. Primitive behavior is not culture. I'm not trying to diss nobody. I'm not trying to diss nobody's customs or whatever. But just because you in a village and you dancing in a circle, okay. Because I've seen some videos online with some of these tribal groups, and you know the women come in, you know, and they got on like grass thongs, then they come in and dance around the circle with their titties out. And okay, all right, okay. Do we really want to talk about culture? And I'm not knocking your titties out. You know, I like a good titty, but let's not really, you don't really, if you know your culture is the titty dance and that's really your claim to fame, you might want to chill out on talking about who has culture and who don't have culture. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not knocking the titty dance. I'm not. But some folks, you're gonna have to kind of bring them back to reality a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? Let's be real. But our culture, what civil rights movements, protest art. I mean, Band culture, with the bands, the high school bands, college bands, that's our culture there. We got so many things we can point to that is specific to FBA culture. The brothers stepping and different dances like that, all types of phenomenal things. Yeah. But the thing about culture, um, the folks who say we don't have culture, these people are the same folks who participate in tribal and ethnic religious violence, you know, class-based tribalism. That's your culture. Just like this dude, Jay, up here talking about why don't we get married? Nigga, you are from a place that's only known for one thing, a mass genocide. Trying to talk from a moral position? We're good. Yeah, we're good, dude. Yeah, our marriages are cool. And we ain't chopping up with machetes. We ain't doing that. The hell? Well, listen, foundational Black American culture, it's functional, it's global, it's spiritually charged. Unlike a lot of these other colonized cultures, see, our culture produces tangible results. We produce real world changing genres of music, civil rights movements, engines, style codes, our spiritual systems. See, these are grounded in action, survival, healing. See, yeah, our culture is a living force. It's not a museum relic. You understand? See, culture has to evolve. It has to be useful. It can't be just an ornament. And a lot of these other people, they have like ornament type culture. You got to have power behind your culture too. Power without culture, or power, a culture without influence. You're doing a tradition. You understand? Your culture has to advance you to a certain degree. And when people try to say we don't have culture, that's like a psychological projection rooted in an inferiority complex and jealousy. That's not because they know it. The people sit up and say we ain't got no culture while dressed like us saying the shit. While you're sitting your ass up here dressed like us with a do-rag on and your clothes looking like us. See, a lot of that is based on envy and resentment. And these people are the main ones who strive to emulate our style, speech, confidence, innovation while trying to insult it. That's cultural parasitism. You don't imitate something that don't have no damn culture. You imitate something that threatens your false sense of superiority. You see? But the guy in the video, he was also talking, he went into the whole stereotypes. He said, what is your culture? What is the Black American culture? Baby mamas? Baby mamas? These tethers with that baby mama shit. Family, do y'all know how big of a projection that is? They come from these places where they got paternity fraud left and right. Folks having all of these babies, don't nobody know who the baby is, orphans running around everywhere. They're dropping anchor babies all over to try to get citizenship. Just anchor babies left and right. They got all these kids all just willy-nilly and got the nerve to talk to us about a baby mama. So you got to check that stuff with these folks. Then the dudes start talking about what is your culture, mass incarceration, shooting and gangbanging. That's another thing. They love going to some gangbanging. These tethers, I think they still have VCRs back in their homelands, and they still got VHS tapes. So they got VHS tapes from like the 80s and shit. So they still think that everything over in Black American society is an episode of Colors. They think it's the Colors movie. It's so out damn dated. The Crips and Bloods are running sheets. No, they're not. The Crips and Bloods are selling crack. No, they're not. The hell out of here. I had some food the other day talking about the Crips and Bloods. Like, if I go to LA with a Rolex on, I will get robbed by the Crips and the Bloods. I said, nigga, the Crips and Bloods in LA, their Rolex is going to have more diamonds on it than yours. Crips and Bloods out here getting money. Niggas out here ain't on no stupid shit. Dudes out here getting money. You got Crips and Bloods running businesses out here in LA. What the hell are you talking about? Crips and Bloods are hustling, dude. They out here getting paper. Nobody doing no dumbass shit no more. Niggas out here getting bags. They niggas out here riding fresh. About to do nothing to no musty tether. Yeah, you got to update your shit, man. And y'all can't talk about gang banging over here, and y'all got child soldiers running around in your homeland, kidnapping whole villages of girls. Come on, man. Eh. And then the dude was like, "What is your culture? Wearing Nike shoes, tennis shoes, Nike shoes." You know, in fact, that is our culture. Sneaker culture is our culture. And it's a global culture. And that's a culture that's globally recognized that was started by foundational Black Americans. Sneaker culture and the maintenance of sneakers, that is our culture 100%. We did create that culture. And it's a viable, globally recognized culture. We, foundational Black Americans, we put sneaker companies on the map because of our talent and our phenomenal athleticism. Like Jesse Owens, he was one of the first ones. When he went over there to Germany, and they put him in them Adidas shoes, and Adidas was up there working with Hitler, but when they put Jesse on in them Adidas and he was running circles around them white supremacists, that put Adidas on the map. In fact, Adidas has been put on the map and saved repeatedly by Black people. Jesse Owens, Run DMC, and Kanye. You know, like him or not, you know, and I don't like some of the stuff Kanye was saying about Beyonce's family and all that. That shit wasn't cool, but you know, facts are facts as far as him getting Adidas hot. Let's just be real. You see? So, you know, we showed how athleticism could elevate a brand to international status. And foundational Black American athletes, they made sneakers iconic on the courts back in the 70s. Watching Dr. J and all these folks, we wanted to see what sneakers were these dudes wearing. What was Magic Johnson wearing? We wanted to see that. And also with street hustlers going into the 80s, to the mid 80s, we started to see the street hustlers wear fly sneakers. You know, the cats, we wanted to make sure our shoes were clean. That was the thing. And then hip hop came. We wanted to make sure the shoes were fresh. We turned our sneakers into cultural megaphones. You understand? We foundational Black American youths, we turned sneakers into the new dress code. Whatever you got on, just make sure your sneakers are fresh. Even if you don't have money, even if you come from poverty, at least make sure your shoes come in clean because that reflects on you. That makes it lets people know that you care about yourself. No matter what money you have, we're not over in a shanty town rocking dirty flip-flops. We're going to make sure the shoe game is up to par. We're still going to have pride in the way we look. And we're going to make sure our shoes are clean. Even though these are tennis shoes and sneakers and play shoes, we're going to make sure these joints are clean. And we prided ourselves on that. And then when the Jordans came, 85, that really changed the game. We made the shoes sacred. We said, okay, these shoes are fly. It ain't just about basketball now. So now this is going to be the new streetwear vibe. That there's a demand now. It became a secondary economy within itself. So we elevated the sneaker game. We turned it into a statement. That's our creativity. That's how fly we are. We can make sneakers hot. Now that it's $1 billion industry. That's how fly we are, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so it is a part of our culture. Our culture is sneakers and his culture is flip-flops, and that's okay. That's okay. Flip-flop culture is okay. You understand? And the guy went on to say in his video, the real truth came out. See, the thing about the Black Americans, you think you should be at the center of global blackness? You think you should be the face of blacks around the world? There you go. That's what it was really about. It was, like I said, it was rooted in jealousy. He thinks we should be the center of blackness. See, a lot of folks, they hate that foundational Black Americans, when you think of a Black person, you're thinking of foundational Black Americans. We are the black people who are elevated around the world. We are revered, honored, respected, propped up. You go around the world, you see murals of foundational black Americans. When you want to talk about black excellence, it's always the face of a foundational black American. And a lot of people have a bug in their ass about that. A lot of people have a bug in their ass about that. And the guy went on in the video, oh, well, you guys, you don't have a tribe. What is your tribe? What is your culture? You don't have a tribe. No, we don't have a tribe because we're not nomads. No, we don't have a tribe. We're one big ethnic group. We're not no little small ass tribe here and a tribe there. No, because we're not nomadic. Those tribes come from nomadic existences where you're just fleeing and running all over the place. You're not grounded. That's where all those tribes come from. You move around, you got to go here, you got to go there. The Arabs come, then you got to move over here, then you get with some other folks, then y'all become a tribe. And then some other Portuguese come and then they run you over here, then you run by the river, then y'all start fishing, then y'all become a fishing tribe. And then some other invaders come in, then you run to the mountains and you become a mountain tribe. That's where all these tribes come from, just moving around all the time and running around all the time and getting split up. And we don't do that. So yeah, we're not splintering off in these little old janky ass tribes that are insignificant. That's why we can stand on business. It's enough of us who are on code within our 43 million plus population as foundational black Americans, and that's pretty powerful. Being on code is extremely powerful. Over there in Africa, in those countries, y'all so tribalistic and you're so splintered off based on tribal groups, nobody's on code. That's why white people and Asians can come on in there and just clean up anytime they feel like it. You feel me? Let me get the prototype in here. Let me get the sister, the prototype in the building. The prototype, hop on in.
Hey Tariq, hey everybody.
Hey, beloved,
I just have a few
go
points
ahead, dear.
that I want to bring up. Number one, to that dude talking about why aren't you marrying your women? Okay, well why when they have children out of wedlock, if they can't find a way to get rid of them, why is it that their own men don't marry them, marry their women? They're left over there to be single mothers and they never get married.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, what about those little albino children that are over there that they take and they dismember so that they can make soups and shit up out of
Man.
because they think that they have magical powers?
Yeah.
Number three, how about when we don't actually use the clothes and we decide to donate to some charity or something like the Salvation Army or somebody? Why is it that they take the clothes that we don't use or they can't sell and they take them over there and they take them over there, they have stacks and stacks and stacks of clothes, or they pilfer through them and then they take them and resell them and then they use the rest of it to make smokestacks to keep, I guess, to keep away all them damn mosquitoes they got over in
Damn.
that place.
Mm-hmm.
And number four, when it comes to the heavy metal, like you were talking about, they can quit lying about all that too, because they were trying to, in a way, finagle and give England credit for that with all of that, but they know it came from the American South, and I can tell you where. I used to live. I lived in several cities in Mississippi when I lived there for a decade and a half, and I actually lived in Crystal Springs, and my husband worked with Robert Johnson's grandson. He actually has a documentary that I've seen
Oh,
before
wow.
as well. But they accredited heavy metal to Robert Johnson and they said how fire it was and they said it was pure unadulterated passion. And that was when Robert Johnson went up there to the crossroads on Highway 61, which I've been in the Delta,
Mm-hmm.
and they sat there and They said, oh, he got all of his musical powers, and then he came back and he played like nobody ever played before because he wasn't really popping like that
Yeah.
before he went to the Crossroads. So that is Robert Johnson from Crystal Springs, and they actually have a Robert Johnson Museum on Main Street in Crystal Springs.
Oh, wow.
I know because it's right beside that janky Chinese restaurant that I won't go to.
Mm. I got to go down there and visit that. I got to go check that out. Anyway, but thank you so much, Prototype. I appreciate you, beloved. But yeah, man, we gotta that culture thing. And yeah, then the guy also in the video, he's like, the Nike shoes, you got Nikes. Nike is owned by the white man. The white man own Nike. Well, nigga, the Asians own the flip-flop factory too, where they get the flip-flops from. Okay. Yeah, but at least we know how to get a bag. At least our athletes and our superstars know how to get those $100 million damn deals. They get them big money shoe deals. We know how to get that bag out of it. So that's fine. But listen, foundational Black American culture, man, it is rooted in survival. We have real culture. And the great thing about our culture, it always evolves and it constantly grows. Even though it's deeply rooted, it still grows and evolves. That's the great thing about foundational Black American culture. See, our culture started off as a survival-based culture under the brutalization of slavery and Jim Crow and all of that. But instead of us staying static and trauma bound, we evolved and it made it into a resilient, creative, adaptive force. See, and that adaptability, that makes it grow and remain relevant globally. You understand? See, the great thing about foundational Black American culture, it's deeply rooted and it reinvents itself every generation without losing the core. You understand? See, like a lot of these other stagnant cultures, our culture regenerates, man. It evolved from spiritual to blues, from blues to jazz, from jazz to soul, from soul to funk, from hip hop to trap. Each generation adds to the cultural archive while keeping that same thread of rhythm and the resistance and the expression that comes from our foundational Black American experience. That's not just culture, that's cultural innovation. That's real culture. That's why all eyes are on us, man. We're one of the few people who has a culture that constantly evolves. And our culture influences the world because our culture is always in motion. What makes our culture dominant globally is the ability for us to shift and lead rather than follow. If it's we always come up with new slang, come up with new fashion, come up with new music, come up with new social justice practices, the whole shebang. So we're always dictating what's next. That's what I'm telling you. That's why corporations, politicians, they sit up and mimic and study us. I'm telling you, corporations, they have whole people on the payroll who sit around here watching what we do. You got companies that sit up here and watch what foundational Black Americans do online. They just watch the trends. They watch what we do and try to follow the trends, follow us, see what we're going to do so they can try to get in front of it. We stay ahead of the curve. And the depth of our culture, it comes from pain and purpose, man. Growth comes from genius. See, our culture is not shallow or manufactured. It's built on centuries of struggle and hope, resistance, brilliance. So our deep reservoir of culture is why it resonates on a soul level. So on TikTok, everything is about what we do, foundational Black American culture or people imitating us. And our culture is a living system. It's not no static museum piece, like I said. A lot of these cultures out here from other people, it's based on basically rituals that stay the same for centuries. Our culture is a living organism. It breathes, it reacts, it mutates, it fits a new era. You understand? So it grows wherever it's planted. And it don't just survive, it leads the cultural evolution around the world. See, our culture is different from their customs. See, we got to understand that a lot of these folks from other places, they don't really have culture, they have customs. Can we be real? And I'm not trying to say that to denigrate or minimize anything, but a lot of these folks, you have customs. You don't really have culture. That's why when you start, they start talking about what culture we don't have, but when you ask them what culture they have, they start hemming and hawing because they can't really name anything. You have a custom. See, let's understand the difference between a culture and a custom. A custom is a repeated act. All right. Culture is a way of life. See, a custom is something people do out of tradition, like you put on a kente cloth thong and you do a greeting and you perform a ritual. A culture is a whole system of values, language, aesthetics, innovation, worldview, survival mechanisms. Customs are expressions of culture, but it's not culture itself. Culture evolves. Customs kind of stay frozen in time sometimes. See, and let's be real, a lot of these folks who come from third world places, a lot of them have a bunch of outdated customs that's been preserved for basically tourist attractions. So the people can come and watch some primitive thing that people do, like, oh, look at these people. Ooh, I'm in the jungle. Ooh, it's like I'm in Tarzan. Look at him. He ain't got no shoes on and he naked dancing. Eh, that's a custom. That's not really a culture. Not to denigrate nobody. Not to denigrate nobody. You see, customs are memorized. You know, culture, that's internalized. You can learn a custom, but culture is lived. You live it. You know, culture that produces systems. Customs are symbolic. Culture creates music, politics, language, food, fashion, all of that. A custom is like when y'all see these videos and it's a Nigerian wedding and they throw some money in the woman's face. That's a custom. That's not a real culture because outside of that, that shit is insignificant. Yeah, and not to denigrate. I'm not trying to denigrate nobody's customs, but outside of these little villages, no, nobody do none of that shit. It's completely useless outside of the village. You understand? Culture can stand alone. Customs have to be explained. You got to sit here and tell somebody, okay, what I'm doing now, I'm going to tie a rope to my brother's foot. Then he's going to jump off the waterfall and he's going to catch a fish. And then he's going to juggle 3 fishes while reciting a poem from the village. Okay. That's a custom. That's not a culture. That's just you doing shit. That's just niggas doing shit. Yeah. Outside of you jumping into the waterfall, that shit don't play nowhere else. You know? It just don't work nowhere else besides there. Not trying to denigrate nobody. What's up? Free, what's up? Let's get Free in here. He's a Caribbean guy. He was kind of making some bad faith arguments that he got checked on. He got caught lying. Free, you want to explain why you got caught lying the other day? Huh? Trying to lie, do tether things, Mr. Free. You want to discuss that? Hop on, Mr. Free. All right. Mr. Free, okay, he's having a problem with his phone. I get you back up, Free. Try to get back on in a minute. Let me get Anubis in here. All right, let's get Anubis in the building. I ain't seen you in a minute, Anubis. What's going on, Anubis? Mr. Anubis, what's happening? Okay, Anubis.
Yeah, my bad, brother. I didn't. Somehow my mic just turned
Okay,
on.
what's going on with you, brother?
Nothing much. I'm getting ready for these kids to come home. That's it. It's my day off.
Cool. So what's on your mind?
No, nothing. The mic just turned on for no reason.
Oh, okay, brother. All right. Thank you so much.
My bad.
Dark Pope.
Yeah, Tariq, what's up, my guy?
What's going on, man?
Good, my brother. All right, Tariq, bro. Tell me something, bro. Let's chop it up real quick about one thing, right? When you say like the other people don't have like culture, like per se, right? But when you look at Hollywood, right? They actually impose most American like content, like music and everything like that, movies and way of life to us. So basically, when the young ones they grow up, they tend to mimic what they see on TV.
Right.
So that's why you will say that we copy our culture, which is actually in reverse because most of it is shoved through our throats.
So, but yeah, they look for it though. Yeah, even some of the stuff that ain't stuff through the throats, like eating all of that. That's our culture as well. All of that. Oh, the reception. Okay, boy, that reception is bad, brother. So I sound like an ostrich came in your house and started pecking the phone or something. I don't know what that was. But yeah, these people gravitate towards our culture. They gravitate towards it, and that's fine. That's fine. I just hate when people, and I'm not talking about the caller, but just the guy who made the video talking about we don't have a culture. It's coming from a place of jealousy. It's coming from a place of jealousy, and that has to be called down. All right, let me get let me see. Let me see. Y'all raise the hands, raise the hands. Let's get Ryan. Let's get Ryan in the building. And then we'll get tamed. We get Ryan and then we'll get tamed in the building. All right, Ryan. Oh, Ryan didn't want to speak. All right, let's get tamed. Mr. Tame, hop on in.
Hey, I'm a big fan. I just wanted to say you're doing a great job. And yeah, sorry, that's about it. I'm laying down trying to go to sleep. So keep doing what you're doing.
There you go, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, let's get a couple of more folks in here because I'm not going to hold you too long, family. We got a lot of folks in here, man. Shout out to everybody in here. I see Cyber Regina down there. I see you, beloved. See Yoshi down there. Let's get Ali Dally. Let's get Ali Dally in here. Let's get Miss or Mister. I don't know because you never know who's who. Ali Dally. What's up, Ali Dally?
Hey, what's up, Nas? I'm good. Good morning. It's 8:38 in the morning for me.
What country you in?
In London.
You're London. There you go. So what is on your mind, ma'am?
Yeah, I just heard when you said that someone said that you haven't got a culture. Why did they say that?
You know what? That's the thing. A lot of people come over here from Africa and the Caribbean, and they try to tell us that we don't have a culture. It's some kind of weird projection. And we're just getting some straightening with scholarship and some history to
Mm-hmm.
correct those false narratives that they come over here with.
Mm-hmm.
What part of Africa are you from, fam?
Now I'm from yeah, well, originally I'm black, so I'm African. But I mean, I'm from the Caribbean.
Okay, from Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
There you go. The wind, your family's part of the Windrush generation, right?
Huh?
Your family's part of that Windrush generation.
Yes.
There you go. I'm familiar. You live in Brixton?
No, in Essex.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Accent. I
Yeah.
love when I go to London when we used to let me go there. I would love the Caribbean spots, the Jamaican spots, some best. Love them over there. Love them, love them, love them. Because that English food is horrible. The only thing I can eat from the English is the fish and chips and the
Fish
porridge.
and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips and porridge. Everything else is trash. I got to go.
Oh, see.
This.
But it's different when it comes to the Jamaican food, though.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. All right, all
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much, Ali Dally. I appreciate you, ma'am.
I appreciate you for coming here.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Let me get a couple of more folks up here. Let's get TV Bobby. Speaking of sneakers, TV Bobby is a sneaker collector. What's up, TV Bobby?
Hey, how you doing, family?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Been a fan of you for a long time, messing with you. But I just had to, I had to say something quick. So I own Washington State's first ever 100% black owned original sneaker company. I
Mm.
draw the shoes myself. I came out with the world's first ever Black History shoe called the Black History One. But just real quick, when I started my company, right, I did my research before I started. Every single one of these companies, Nike, Reebok, even Saucony, till this day, they had to sign and work with a Black American descendant of chattel slavery. Every single one of them. They didn't want to mess with us, but they had to tap in with us to be able to hit that market, right?
Yes.
So what they do now is they say, "Oh, well, the shoes y'all do, it doesn't keep the companies afloat. Like we don't know that we make the shoes cool. So if Michael Jordan, you can't get the Jordans, but you can get the cheap Nike Courts or the Air Force Ones. So like the entry level shoes, we made it cool to just be associated with the brand. So they still gotta whatever we do. If they stop messing with us, they gonna go downhill. That's why they got Travis Scott. That's why they try to sign LeBron, everybody black who's hot, athletes, because they know we the one who keep the motion going. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's one. And I wanted to send a pair to you, but I know you wear a
Six.
size 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we ain't quite there yet, family. But as soon as I got it, I'm gonna tap in with you.
No doubt. Much respect to you, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Indeed. I love that. I love to see our FBA entrepreneurs. I love that. Capitalize off our culture. We gotta start gatekeeping and then capitalizing off of our own damn culture. What that brother's doing, I love that. We created sneaker culture. And you go down Melrose, you got all these sneaker shops that's packed to the brim. All these other people owning them while they're bumping our music with graffiti and all our culture, and they're capitalizing off of it. Melrose out here in LA, real big on that. All them shoe stores. We need to, I love what that brother's doing. We need to be capitalizing off that. You dig? That's why a lot of folks don't like us acknowledging our lineage and giving props to our lineage because they know the gatekeeping is coming. We're going to start saying, hey, we're going to need some authentic people over this culture. So we're already doing it. That's what they don't like. Now, when you protect a culture, when you protect a lineage, it's just naturally instinctive to gatekeep it and make sure that it's going to be protected with integrity. That's why people rejected what went down at the damn Essence Fest, because there is a cultural renaissance for foundational Black American lineage. We are now understanding and circling back to our lineage and giving props to our lineage on our own terms and not letting the dominant society tell us what we should identify as. We are correctly identifying our lineage based on logic. We are Black Americans, check. Black, check. Americans, check. Foundational, check. That's the logical designation. And now when people come into our cultural situations and try to remix it and bring the bullshit or half-ass it or not have the same level of respect, they're getting called out. Just like with Essence. Essence got called out, as they should have, because they got in and started doing janky ass business. And they should have been called out because everybody was complaining. The customers, the damn artists are sitting out here complaining, writing open letters talking about how janky and unprofessional the shit is. It's not a good look. That should be called out when foreigners come and take over and then jank it up. That should be called out. Don't let people tell you you're being divisive. No, you don't let people come in and just vandalize your shit and then disrespect it. And no, you call that out. Gotta call it out, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see. Should I get one more good call? Y'all raise your hand because we got a lot of people up in the building. We got a lot of people up in here. Much respect to you guys. Who is this? Anti-communists. Got some interesting accounts in here. Anti-communists. What's happening? Mr. Anti-communist. Where you at? All right. Anti-communist. And let's get Proud Tether in here. Proud Tether. Proud Tether, hop on in.
You black.
Okay, you can't even get your troll in now, right? What's up, brother? What's going on with your proud tether?
You black fuckers have no culture.
Okay, nigga, you sound like you've been kidnapped by RuPaul. All right, calm down, nigga. All right, they got you drugged up in a bedroom with Hello Kitty sheets. All right, and if you need some help, say that. We'll send somebody to come get you.
I am the real.
Sound like you're enjoying the kidnapping. Sound like you said you don't want to get released. You want to stay for a couple of more days. You want a little piece. You want a little torture. Like you're asking for the dildo again. You're like, hey, that didn't feel so bad. All right. You called your mom and said, hey, mom, never mind on the ransom. I think they didn't flip me. I'm a part of them now. I got Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, they done turned you moist. You're a moist hostage. Be whispering, bitch ass. Lord, this is a moist ass hostage. They done flipped this nigga. He done said, hey, mom, never mind. Don't Western Union the money. I think everything is cool now. I'm going with them. We're going to go kidnap some more niggas. All right. Let me get up out of here, family. It has been real. You know what, everybody? I need y'all to go to Hidden History Museum, and contribute, make a contribution to the Hidden History Museum. Get the book Hidden Heroes from A to Z, and then go to rootworkstyle.com, get the Rootwork deodorant. Go to officialfba.com to get the Foundation of Black American hats, flags, posters, bandanas. We got the car flags that you can have in your car window. Oh, we got it. That's at officialfba.com. And also my book, Foundation of Black American Race Beta. You can get that at officialfba.com. All right, guys, I'm up out of here. It's been real. Puppy Akute Lulavuve to the family. Peace.
What up? You know what it is. You better get you some root work at rootworkstyle.com.
Slide on that root work. Slide on that root work. Slide on that root work. Slide on that root work.